of things. But I was really good friends with the CEO and the CTO, and they kind of started to bring me into the product meetings. That got me really interested in it, and then just kind of things got a little crazy in 2016. So we left. I kind of took a step back for a long time. Found out I was really interested in UX and product management and product design. So for the following year after our trip, I pretty much just took courses, worked on my portfolio, started doing meetups, and got my first UX design job. And after that, got hired with this company that I'm at now, where I'm doing product management. It's my first product management role, and I'm pretty much the only product manager. I don't have anybody to really guide me much, so that's been a little bit a bit of a wide open sea for me. But we're starting to run a lot of design sprints internally to basically restructure the business model of the company, and start building a few services and products. So it's kind of a lot on my plate right now, and we're seeing what design sprints, how design sprints can really help us focus and get things on track. I think that the other part of that question was, where would I go for vacation? We were just thinking about going on vacation for Christmas. And we wanted to go to like the Peninsula of Yucatan area, but we just don't know how long this is going to last, right? So I guess that might be off the books. But I'm really in between somewhere like Berlin or somewhere like the beach on an island somewhere. So I know those are very, very different things, but they both sound really nice right now. I guess it'll be cheaper for you if I just go to an island somewhere, Robert, because Berlin, I'm sure I'll empty your wallet.
It's quite all right. I make zillions from this event, so whatever income I get, I'm just going to basically funnel into your vacation plan. So as long as you don't go crazy and purchase any exotic cars or motorcycles, I think we're going to be okay.
Right. Cool. So I'll pass it along to nobody really has their hand up. So
you got to pick up everybody on the call.
Okay. I'll go with Abhinav.
Mr. India, are you on?
Everybody's on mute. Abhinav, you're still on mute.
Yeah. Hey, I'm audible.
Hey.
Yeah.
Omar, can you repeat the questions? I forgot the questions.
The question, so basically, I can help you, Omar. Just basically, it's like who you are, what you're all about, and like with Omar, I'm funding an all expenses paid trip when the pandemic is completely done to a vacation spot of your choice. So what would that be, and what would you be doing? But make sure that you kind of, before you answer that, give everybody a taste of what you're all about.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so welcome everybody. Hi, Abhinav Patandi from New Delhi, India. I'm a UX designer by profession. I have dabbled across various roles from front-end development, product management to UX design, and currently practicing UX design with a consulting firm in India. Primarily, why I'm here for the GVDS is to learn the nuances of design sprints, and to also learn from all of you that how we can do virtual design sprints, and how we can collaborate with each other and learn from each other in terms of doing design sprints and coming to conclusions in terms of design decisions. And my vacation destination probably would be the Hawaii post the pandemic. So enjoying the open seas probably. And any questions, anybody? What you'd like to know? Any particular questions before I pass on the baton to anybody else? Yes, no, everybody's going to be a mute spectator.
Nope, you just have to call on somebody else, and I think we're good.
Okay, I think I'll pass it to Andy then.
Mr. Davis, the weatherman, 3-time best of the best in GVDS.
Oh, geez. Well, hello. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, this is round two for me today. So I'm going to try and offer something new, or maybe just a slightly different version. But so, what am I about? I'm about design. I'm about collaboration. I'm about exploring and seeing how people work together and evolving that in any direction it goes. I think I expressed earlier today in the previous networking session, I think design is everywhere. And I think many people don't realize that they are designers. From the moment you wake up to when you go to bed, and even during our sleep, we design, right? We think about, we solve, we factor in and try and understand the world around us or the problem at hand, and figure a way through it. And all that requires design. So I'm really fascinated with all of that. And I love GVDS. I love what it brings to the community and the energy. And it really helps us all evolve our thinking, and through practicing and doing, which I think is so important. So vacation destination, honestly, right now, I would need to go. So Robert, as soon as I'm done here, I'll head to the airport, and I'm assuming you'll have my ticket ready for me.
I will.
And so I'm going to be hopping a plane to Paris to watch the final stage of the Tour de France, marching down the Champs-Elysees.
Very nice. Well, I'll just foot me the bill and let me know how expensive it was, and we'll be all set to go.
Yes.
All right, hands raised if you did already introduce yourself, and Andy, go ahead and pick someone else.
So let me hover. Let's go to Susanna. Hey, Susanna, good to see you again.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
Very good, very good.
I just actually heard from Charla.
Oh,
one
great.
of our associates. So GVDS has like interesting weaving and connections. So hi, everybody. I'm Susanna Childers. I'm in the Raleigh, North Carolina area in my new expanded studio. At least, virtually we can live anywhere we want, right? So I'm working from there today. I'm all about facilitation. I'm a facilitator of creativity and innovation. I create experiences, or I design experiences for people to build collaboration. Personally, I'm all about learning and adventure. I'm curious and always liking to try new things. So I am totally taking you up on this vacation. I was kind of not remembering what the questions were because I wanted to think about where I could go. I think, I was going to say a European tour, but I've done that. So I think I'm going on a South American tour. Maybe all the way with Omar down to Patagonia. I don't know, but I really want to go to Machu Picchu. So if you could make those arrangements, Robert, that would be great.
I am down in my notes right now.
Yeah, getting that, book those tickets. Let's go.
Yes. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
Yeah, Suzanne Childers. Yeah, she'll call you with the details. Sure. Yep. And the limo pickup, please. Yeah, the bigger one. Right.
Limo,
okay.
Yeah. Nice.
We're all set.
No donkey ride up the trail there.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, we can dream. So in the meantime, Here I am. Working on a variety of things. So this will be my third GVDS. I have had the pleasure of working with Andy and Ken in the past on teams. So looking forward to meeting more people. The connections just keep coming. I was just telling my husband, who's also my business partner, that I had signed up again, and he's like, well, when is that? And I said, it's really, GVDS has given me a lot of capability in terms of bringing my facilitation into the digital world a year ago when we did GVDS 3. And so that served, that served us, that's been serving us well in this new capability, this new time for, new need for this. And I don't think it's, while the pandemic may go over, I don't think I'm totally on board with the remote work, can have a lot of benefits. So we can keep things going. So
yeah, the intent was to get you the experience of kind of working in this environment so that you can translate it for your own business. So
yep. So that's what it's done. And so that's why I'm back for more, because there's always more to learn. I don't know what it is that I'll learn, but I'll learn something. Learn something new the next time. And because I didn't get the manual on how to do life. So you have to figure it out. You design it every day, right, Andy? From the time you wake up, what's the experience that you have and what do you want to create? And then as a facilitator of experiences for other people, how do we create those? How do we design those experiences for a team to best collaborate? So
Now, just for reference, I did ask Andy and a couple of people this morning what they want to experience in GVDS 5 that's a little bit different from what they did in the past. So if you had a top of mind thing that you definitely want me to kind of emphasize or concentrate on, bring to the fore, is there anything that you could say?
What do I want to experience in GVDS 5?
So if everything was all said and done, and it's the first week of November, we went through the showcases and everything, what's the takeaway for you that would be really meaningful?
I think for me, what would be really meaningful is that I've found a way to work with a group of people and bring them together to new connections, and to apply the design sprint process in some new ways and integrate things that I've done, so that I'm creating a hybrid model between the best of what a sprint has to offer with what I know also works in terms of bringing people together in a deep way. And so that it's creating something that's, a different version, not just going through steps in a process. I think the first couple of times I was really trying to follow the steps in the process. And now I feel like I have enough confidence both with the process as well as the virtual to be able to bring in a lot of my unique gifts and talents as well. So it will be whatever team I'm on will probably be a slightly different experience than what all the other teams are. I think they're all a little different anyway, but that's what I'm expecting.
Okay. Sounds good then.
In a good way, I hope.
Well, I hope so too. If it's not in a good way, then I'm in trouble.
You're
I'll be
firing
like,
me.
what the heck am I doing?
You signed
Okay.
up, but she's fired.
Signed up, or I left for a vacation for whatever reason.
I'm out.
Okay, hand up if you've already done your introduction. So Susanna, who are you going to call in next?
I'll pick Andrew. He looks deep in thought.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I am a recent graduate of Design Lab bootcamp as of like about a month or so ago. So all of this is kind of brand new to me. Before that, I was working as a writer, primarily in sports. I've covered MLB, NFL, NHL, through kind of various levels, credentialed, not credentialed, kind of just contributing, managing editor, a little bit of everything. Decided that really wasn't for me anymore to kind of just write stuff about, recaps of games and stuff like that. I kind of liked more of the creative aspect of writing, and writing stuff that's not clickbait, I guess, for lack of a better word. But that's what kind of everybody is looking to read these days. So I moved into UX design because I initially had heard of it, kind of, sort of, and I thought it required more coding until I kind of had a chat with one of my friends who told me that it wasn't as much coding as I initially thought. So I looked more into it, and it made a lot of sense to me. At my heart, I think I'm a bit of a problem solver. I kind of just go through life and I see things that need fixing, and I think of ways to do it, even if it doesn't directly affect me. So I think it just made a lot of sense. And, UX design also allowed me to kind of be creative. I'm still looking for my first paid UX job, but I have volunteered for some things. We're wrapping up my first major project and about to do the handoff. So as far as GVDS goes, I'm not entirely sure what to expect, because this is my first kind of really anything besides that one project I had. So yeah, I'm just excited to kind of see what happens and how much I can contribute and learn and, meet everybody and all that good stuff. As far as like where I would want to go on a vacation, I would probably say I went to England and Scotland last year, and I really loved it. But if I'm taking advantage of a free trip and wanting to do something new, I would probably say Spain would probably be my second choice. I was a Spanish major in college, as well as an English major, but I never got a chance to study abroad. So I would love to visit Spain and kind of make use of some of my education. But yeah, I know that was a bit quick, but that's me.
Highly
All right.
recommend going to Spain. I did get
Yeah.
to study there, so.
Yeah, that's at the top of my list. That and Italy, I think, but Spain for sure.
And did you have a top level takeaway that you wanted to have when November hits after the GVDS is all said and done? What would be an ideal outcome for you?
Probably. I mean, I know it's kind of generic to just kind of say learn something new, but I'm still learning as much as I can. So I'm undoubtedly going to learn something new, but to also, just network and meet people and just be able to learn from people, I guess, and in general is kind of what I'm hoping for.
Okay. And for reference, everyone's LinkedIn profile will be kind of included in the notes that I'll do after the recording's done, so that if you ever want to check people out, you'll have that option. Plus, I'll be showing the team board as it stood last Tuesday. There's going to be updates to it over the weekend so that you'll be able to see everyone there as well.
Awesome.
Okay. Hand up if you've been called. And
Okay.
Andrew, go ahead and call on somebody that you see here that does not have their hand up that you'd like to know more about.
Well, I also am, I should mention, I'm from North Carolina. I'm currently in South Carolina, but I'm from North Carolina. So let's go with Lee, since you're also from North Carolina.
Okay, that's me. All right, so what I'm about designing for meaning. And I believe it was GVDS 2, we brought in an innovation idea for creating a blockchain for natural disaster. So that actually was part of a design sprint for number 2, and the people that were involved in the design sprint I still keep in touch with, and we work together and all types of things like that. So that was number 2. This is actually going to be my 5th tour, so I've been involved in all of them, and I learned a lot from each. I am from Zoomtown, North Carolina, actually Cary, North Carolina, very close to Raleigh. And I would say, as far as the vacation, I would like to go to Mars, especially if you're going to pay for it. And what I would like to get out of this one is I would like to experiment a little bit more on ways to reapply the design sprint, because I do design sprints for IBM. I've been with IBM for 20 years. And I would say the other thing is I want to figure out how I can be more efficient with prototyping and how to bring prototypes into design sprints and to make my design sprints shorter and at least as effective.
Okay. That's going to be part of the GVDS 5. So that's in the mix. There'll be a schism between day 2 and day 3 where the team can make a choice to go the prototype way or go the traditional VDS way. So you'll have that discussion as a team as well. Plus, next week will be the discussions on the actual teams, and then depending on the on the bandwidth of the individual, we're going to produce dash teams and then see if we can get some schedules to mix. But I'm starting with VDS first so that I don't muddy the waters, and have the dash being like an additional thing depending on what people have time for. And then probably next year it'll be where right from the registration beginning, you can say one or the other or both, because there's a chance that service design may be part of the mix next year too. So we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ben, well, I got a reaction from Ben. I was like, hey, yeah, service design will be kind of coming into the mix then. So, all right, Lee, everyone put their hand up. If you said something and introduced yourself, Lee, go ahead and pick someone that you have not seen or heard from.
Yeah. Like you care. Okay, I'm gonna go. Is it Tanya?
Tanya.
It's Tanya. Hi.
Hey,
Yeah, almost. Tanya. I just can you ask me a favor? Like, please do somebody else. I have to just.
Okay.
You gotta set somebody else.
Unexpected. Unexpected. Stay on your toes. Okay.
I am sorry.
Does that mean you're back? Okay, no, you're gone.
I can't be back. I apologize. It's like a day of school that I wasn't planning on having. So.
No worries at all. This is a nice challenge for me. Okay.
That's right.
I'm going again. I'm going to go with a name I can pronounce. I feel fairly confident. I'm going with Ken.
Yeah.
Good job, Lee. You got it right the first time. That's a tough one. Hi, everyone. I'm Ken. I know probably half of you. I've worked with at least a couple of you, Andy, Susanna, and I'm looking forward to working with the rest of you. If not GVDS 5, then some other opportunity. This is my 3rd GVDS, and my background is I started as a graphic designer, moved through my career as an art director, creative director for design agencies. And as of the last 10 years or so, maybe more like 20 now, been an independent designer doing brand experience and web design and so on for a lot of different clients, but mostly in higher education. And so over the last few years, I've been much more interested in design thinking and specifically designed sprints as a way to work with teams. And my particular interest, I think, is in becoming less of a designer myself and helping to facilitate others to practice design. That's what drew me to design sprints and to GVDS in particular. Robert, your question about what I'm hoping to get out of the 5th edition here, like Lee, I think a little bit. I'm looking more outside of the sprint process. I'm much more focused these days on application, not just pre-sprint activities, but post-sprint. You know, where we end up outside of the sprint window and how to apply that to larger problems. What I'm feeling these days is there seems to be a bit of a pushback on for some people feeling like the sprint is kind of hermetically sealed. And I'm much more interested in exploring what happens outside of that window of the sprint and how to either iterate or learn from it and move on to the next step. As far as my vacation, I was going to say Japan, probably because Japan is imprinted on my brain, because as a kid I was into Godzilla films, and I have this affinity for Tokyo, I suppose, and seeing it destroyed hundreds of times makes me want to go visit it, I suppose. I don't know. But I think I'll change that now and join Lee on Mars, because that seems like it's a viable opportunity. I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime, but since Robert's paying for it, sure. Yeah, I'll take you up on that. So that's me. Let's see, it's time for me to pick someone, I suppose. No, Andy, I'm not going to pick you. So let's see. I think I'm going to pick Yasir.
Thank you, Ken. I think something that I realized, Ken, you shared the link to Zoom, and I logged in with that, and it's logged me in with your name. So thank you, Sachin, for bringing that to my attention.
I saw that. I saw that earlier, and I apologize for that. But at least you were here. So. Oh
yeah, no, thank you very much. But then I just realized that it logs you with the same name.
Yeah.
So hi. So my name is Yasir. I'm based in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I'm working as a Scrum Master in a company called Tetra Pak, and we are into food packaging. So this will be my second GVDS. So GVDS 4 was my first, and I learned a lot because I had just completed my training for design sprints just before the GVDS 4 and had read the book at that time. So everything was pretty new. So I think so with GVDS 5, I'm sort of trying to implement what I learned in GVDS 4 and implement it in a better way. I'm also looking forward to collaborating with some of the facilitators and that are based in corporates. Like Lee, he is doing it for IBM. So to see how the design sprints set up in a corporate environment, rather than doing it as just a freelance facilitator or as an entrepreneur. So just to see how different that is. Regarding vacations, since Robert did not mention that it has to be only one destination, so I would say I'll first go to Madrid, watch Real Madrid play in Santiago Bernabeu, then hop from there to Istanbul to watch the Champions League final, and then from there to Austin, Texas to watch the Formula 1 race, and finally end up in Niagara Falls, Canadian side, because I've already been to the US side twice, and I hear that the Canadian side is better. So anything cold and wet, because I'm here in dry and humid and hot. So the exact opposite I'm looking for in a vacation.
I cliff noted that agenda. I'll talk to my agent about getting that arranged for you.
Well, it's going to be cheaper than Mars. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, Mars, I'm going to have to get some investors. I'll have to
pick me.
Well, I'm gonna have to get on the phone with some. You may know him. He runs Tesla, but he has some contacts where we can start talking about that and hopefully get it in time after November to make it work. So can't name names, obviously. I just got to keep it under wraps. But
I have an idea. Maybe they are launching a new Tesla, and then last time he sent it with a rocket, so maybe he can leave with that new car.
Yeah, but I don't want you to be stranded in space if that occurs. I want your vacation to be permanent.
do we
I'd rather
care?
you have a re-entry point at some point, and then you can come back and enjoy the rest of your vacation. So we'll try to make it work. Before we do any more introductions, I want to show something really fast. So I'm going to screen share something that I have on my end. I want to bring this up because this is something where if you haven't seen it yet, this is going to come into view next week. So what I did initially with the people that filled in their doodle poll in terms of their availability, thank you very much. I started putting people into teams. Now, these aren't permanent. These are just like the first foray into where people can display. So for some of the people that are on the call, Benno, we've got you kind of paired with Iva, and it was the information I used was your availability as well as the role that you wanted to play, and try to put a good blend with the team. And then you can see some other ones like Abhinav and Sachin are kind of on the same team with Florian. So the purpose of kind of showing you this is that there's already discussions been going on right now about how the teams are going to be formed. I'm taking requests in private to basically either be moved to different teams or to reconsider moving to something else if you worked with someone else before. But probably around Wednesday of next week is where this thing is going to start to get solidified. And then we're going to start getting into like kickoff sessions with Team Canvas and other things. So I'm just showing you this now. So like for instance, Omar, I have you over here in terms of like the like not having like an availability on the doodle poll, which is this. And you'll have to apologize. The doodle poll is actually asking for the preparation week from the 12th to the 15th. And I'm looking actually 12th, 16th. I'm looking for the 19th through the 23rd. But either way, if your availability is similar to that, this is the thing that I'm going to be using to kind of figure out what people have available for that particular week. Now, to fill that out, I'll go ahead and put this into the chat. If you want to.
That's what I was going to ask. I didn't receive that doodle link, so I wasn't able to. Yeah.
That's my fault. So some of it's at the end of registration, but it isn't explicit. So let me go ahead and make sure that everyone's getting it. So this is this is what you're seeing on the screen is this. And then for the kind of this, I'm going to go ahead and copy the link as soon as I get all this Q&A stuff out of the way. For the visitor link, copy that. We're done with this, and bring that over into the chat as well. So that's a link going directly to this team kind of assembly that we have. Now 6 is just, for reference, 6 is just the default. I may expand or shrink these depending on availability and what people want to do. But if you see a pairing where you'd like to move to a different team based on your introductions here, you can either just put yourself on a team if you want, or you can just private message me right now in Zoom, and I'll basically take notes. I already have one for Lisa Weinsberger about a possible team shift. Just go ahead and send those over to my way, and then I'll work on those offline over the weekend. And then come next week when I start sending some summaries out, I'll start getting, okay, this is what these teams are kind of assembling into, like Tanya and this one. We had Niles on this morning. There's Andrew. So you're kind of getting an idea of where your team may look like. But next Wednesday will probably be a little bit more succinct. So I'll stop the share for now. I just want to make sure I got that out there. But I think we left off with Yasir. So why don't you go ahead? If you've already made your introduction, please put your hand up. And Eddie had to leave at the bottom of the hour, so that's why he's not here. But anybody else that hasn't been called, go ahead and
I will select Benno.
Yeah, hi. I'm the German, trying to use proper English as much as I can. Yeah, I'm actually a Google Design Sprint Master, and so what do I want to learn from the GVDS? I work as as Google for Startups mentor and as a United Nations Innovation Facilitator. And these are opportunities, so not full-time, just occasionally. These are opportunities to work together with other excellent experts. And so hope to experience the same here, to learn from each other, to really improve on the craft. And as Ken said, primarily on how to actually implement it. So not so much on the method itself, but on learning some practices, how to successfully apply it. And yeah, I'm currently I'm a freelancer. Currently, my main client is a pharmaceutical company, Merck in the US and MSD in the rest of the world. And I'm working for the vaccines department. So quite not too uninteresting right now. And so I can combine my two major topics, which is on the UX side, it's design systems, and on the design sprint side, it's enabling teams. So we are working on implementing a new way of working. Every company has its own names for it, but basically it's the classical combination of design thinking and lean. In order to be more successful when it comes to customer centricity across all the different channels. So my topics are product strategy and UX, as well as service design and CX. And I originate from having studied life sciences and economics. And at the same time, I turned my hobby into a job. So I started as a print corporate designer, moved into digital media, which is my predominant part still. And so UI design so my development was like UI design wasn't enough because it stays meaningless decoration when there's no UX concept behind it. So I moved into UX concept, but UX concept without a strategy behind it is just aimless usability. So I also extended into strategy as well. So this is my quick roundup. And I'm really looking forward to get to know you all. I know somebody on the board already. It's Lee Duncan from IBM. So I'm really hoping to learn and to grow with you together on that topic.
You know, funny enough, there's this podcast that I've listened to in the past called Experiences of Insight. And, you know, the kind of people that I've heard on that podcast, maybe you and Lee should have an offline conversation about potentially recording something, because I could see the both of you spending 60 minutes talking about all sorts of topics in an innovative way. So I'm putting it out there just so I don't forget that if you two are kind of blending in the same circles, it seems like the two of you would have a lot to talk about.
That sounds nice. You mentioned already on LinkedIn because you are using some of my content, my slide. So the talk wasn't actually recorded. So but you sparked the idea. Yes, you sparked the idea. So I have to give it some second time maybe. Sparked the idea of a podcast, and I'm really I like that.
Yeah. And hey, if Lee's busy, then you can come on mine. I got one. We can talk about I would really like to talk about the content. So for everyone else on the call that's not understanding the context, Benno was someone that I saw a presentation on remote design sprint. Like it was kind of like a summary of how the physical design sprint was different from the remote or the virtual one, and how the dynamics played out in terms of the arrangement of activities, the time commitment and everything else. And it was really succinct and well put together. So as soon as I saw it, I get these impulses like, I got to share this because people got to know about it. And that ended up, ironically, that we're having this conversation during a networking event. So that's why I'm saying, I think there's an extended conversation that could be had with the kind of content you were talking about. By the way, I want to make mention also that kids and cats are perfectly welcome on these calls, and that they can be welcome distractions. For example, Ken's got a cat that kind of roams in. I know Graham's got one as well. So just so you know that this culture pretty much says, you know, people can have like birds fly on their shoulders if they want. It's not a big deal. So it's perfectly fine.
We don't have dog lovers here. It's just kids and cats.
Mine sleeps all day long.
Absolutely, and that and parakeets actually.
Oh, well, there you
Not
go.
parakeets. I agree with that.
So Beto, the only thing missing is your vacation spot. I obviously have.
Oh yeah. Okay. Anything with snow, or so beautiful landscapes with snow where you can just simply emerge into it. You're doing winter sports or just hiking or just, yeah. So I'm flexible, pretty flexible for it comes to seasons. Every season with snow, or beautiful diving spots. I'm afraid of water, panic level, but I'm a passionate scuba diver. So these two. So might be the conference was postponed to next year. So for sure, I will be going for Costa Rica for diving and jungle, but winter is coming before that. So maybe the Alps, since that's the advantage of Germany. It's just a few hours away.
You know, you could always do a VR expedition to kind of overcome like any kind of fear of going to get too much water and kind of feel immersed in it in a way.
No,
Then
I mean, as long as it's a nice reef and I have my diving gear and my diving camera, which actually is the one I'm using here without the housing actually, then just you won't get me out of water until
because if we do that, then Ken can be Godzilla in Japan and he can basically like roam through and kind of live that vision out. And then Yasir can join Lee at Mars, and they could both drive like a kind of a Harry Potter car all the way like through there, and then come back and be totally fine, and even collect some like digital artifacts they can send off to people. So there are possibilities.
Sounds good.
I just think you might have to revise the ticket price of GVDS just if you just want to fill everything in.
No, I'm an active investor.
Slightly, I mean, maybe a 10% increase.
I write some code for doing automatics, like trading in the stock markets, and that's for real. I actually do that, but I'm gonna have to write at least 20 different like branches of code and try to see if I can make it work, but we'll see. Just to fund everything. So all right, hands up everybody if you've been called and made an introduction. If so, Benno, call on anybody you don't.
As a German, I might be most suitable to be able to pronounce Tanya right. So I'm picking her.
You got it. You got it. That's the reason there's a J in the Tanya and not a Tanja. So hi, I'm Tanya. I'm originally from Munich, so that's where the connection comes in the J. I work as a fundraising and philanthropy consultant, so I'm in a very different field than most of you. So that's my core business. But in addition to being in the philanthropy space, I'm also a facilitator. I'm a liberating structure practitioner, and I'm also an executive coach. So combining all these different passions in my life has brought me to design thinking, to IDEO, where I have done a lot of different trainings on, from the foundation of design thinking to user experience, all of that. I was extremely excited about innovation in the workplace. And it all connects back to, executive coaching and the facilitation world I'm in. And I forgot exactly how I met Robert, but Robert and I had a conversation a few months ago where he explained everything to me about what you're doing with the Global Design Sprint. And I thought this is something I want to dive in and I want to understand better. And I want to just experiment and be open to the experience. And that's the big takeaway. I want to learn, I want to experiment, I want to see how it goes. And in terms of the vacation place, it's going to be, not as costly as the Mars. I'm happy to go back to Munich because I haven't been there in a while. But I'm also happy to go to a place where Abhinav's background is suggesting anything that's with sun. So I'm not going into the winter, I'm going into the sun. Anything that is hot and really humid, I'm in for it. So
come to Saudi Arabia.
I might skip that one. But thank you. Thanks for the invite.
New Orleans is perfect in the summer. You got anything in Hotline over here in the States, come August, that's pretty much a pressure cooker.
I know. So I live in New Jersey, by the way. So I'm not, I don't live in Munich anymore. I live in New Jersey.
Yeah, cool. All right. So I think if we put all our hands up, I think we got like a little bit. Yeah, you have one option really.
Yeah, Sachin.
Thanks for volunteering.
Okay. So I'm Sachin. I have done my PG in design for digital experience. With that, I have my major core expertise is user experience designing. So my major, where I expertise lies majorly taking the idea and doing the UX process and coming out with the wireframes is my core expertise. And with that, I am a user experience consultant with one of the IT company, currently working with that and helping them in the user experience designing. With that, after on, so you can say in mid March, I came to know about the design sprints and all Miro and remote collaboration. From that time, I am majorly into the workshops. I am training my team into the kind of whatever I know. As per my knowledge, I am training my team into the Miro remote collaboration or whatever the workshop I know till date. I am training them. So that's the whole thing about me and my what I am currently working on. So what I want to learn as an expertise, yeah, as Yasir said, I also want to see how every industry's person is doing their design sprint and how they or design sprint or kind of workshops uh, they are into, right? And from that perspective, let's collaborate and how we can take as a team in for the design sprint or the workshops into the next step. I'm open to learn because after COVID, I can see there is so many things need to be learned, right, to be into the market. So that's another thing. Yes, for the vacation, Robert, I will be to be in India, so I will go. I take a bus. I will go to Jammu and Kashmir. So it's very cheap for you. So it's a win-win situation for me. Just give me see
Dude, my budget
hardly
is completely blown
yeah.
out. You can't go conservative on me after all you've heard between Mars and Yasir doing like the Amazing Race kind of thing. If you remember that show and just going everywhere, I think what we ought to do is bump it up a little bit and have you do an Indian tour. So you're gonna maybe visit Calcutta. You'll go to Delhi. You'll maybe go to the south of India and like collect some spices down there. Maybe you go to like the northwest side. You know, anywhere where it's safe. And then all we really have to do is have a digital kind of outlook of where you've been, so that you can kind of have a photo collage. You know.
Yeah, yeah. That's all about me and my place to be in. So yeah.
Don't
Cool.
forget about Alfonso mangoes when you are there.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I have to go. To, yeah.
Everything there are Alfonso mangoes, and there's all the rest.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Any Brazilian here in this group? No?
No.
Because I have a Brazilian colleague, and he always argues with me that Brazilian mangoes are better. I said, you haven't tasted Alfonso mango, so that's what you're saying there.
Alfonso, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find somebody who can get both, and then kind of do a live taste test and see where that goes. So a couple of things that came from questions. There you go. Hey, Benno's got the mangoes. Oh, he doesn't have any. So we can dream about it. So the first thing is, Suzanne, you talked about a world tour. Actually, there was an idea that came from the first networking session where the teams from previous GVDSs would be invited to kind of like a between the events, kind of like an event that where you can do, depending on the scheduling, we could do like 2 in one day, but we invite whole teams to come back that used to work with one another. And we offer breakout rooms. So it'd be a way of like for a half an hour catching up with everybody that they haven't worked with that they worked with before, what's going on with them. Maybe give them a mural to kind of play with in terms of like, what have you been doing? Can you do a photo collage of things that have happened to you and use that as a catalyst for talking? And then when we bring everybody back at the end, it's kind of like a global networking thing. It's like if there's somebody you haven't seen, and I would have everybody's LinkedIn profile up, it says, go ahead and network with them, start conversations. And then use that as a promotional vehicle for what people are doing that are part of the community, so that people can go from different places. So if you're doing something with AHA, if Lee's doing something with some of his endeavors, Ken's got something coming up, we can basically use that as like a jumping off point for people to let people know what they're up to. So that's an idea that I have written down that I'm probably going to do in November, December, right around before the holidays happens. So we'll experiment in that regard. There was a question about for people that want to observe and being able to different sessions. And I'm going to kind of scale that back a bit for a couple of reasons. One is that there were some facilitators that found that to be a distraction that they had to manage to, especially with people that wanted to just observe but give their 2 cents. And if it was kind of not aligned with how the facilitator kind of wanted to kind of run the session, it caused problems or issues. And the other is that it tends to be something where if you have one person observing 13 teams, that's great. But again, you don't know what that person is actually doing. They're listed there in the chat, but are they going to participate? Are they basically like just kind of like documenting things? So the workaround for this is that when we start going down the path of the teams doing what they're doing, I'm going to showcase some options of broadcasting what they are doing. Not necessarily to just do it for the sake of doing it, but for a historical narrative, because I had a couple of people say, well, what's the GVDS like? Can you give me an actual example and show me like a video of what happens during those sessions? And Jerome, to his benefit, did the GVDS live for a while and was documenting all of that. But I think it's going to be part of the event where during Sprint Week, we're going to show people how to use either OBS or Zoom or something else to broadcast to and stream to different services, so that you will have something to point to and say, this is how I work with other people, or this is what the session was like. And everyone will learn it. It won't just be me just kind of setting it up. It's the idea that you can learn this and you can use it for your own purposes later on if you want to do your own webinars or what have you. So that'll be part of the mix for the observer part of this dynamic, is that the teams themselves are going to be empowered to kind of broadcast what they're doing. And that was just the 2 outstanding things that I saw in questions while we were talking. For everyone else on the call, is there anything I can answer offhand about the event? Anything you're still curious about? Any videos that you want to see that I haven't produced yet that were on the resource page? And I'll bring that up in a second so you know what I'm talking about. Anything at all. All you have to do is just come off mic and start talking, and then that'll be the starting point.
Where's the resource page?
Hang on a minute. I'm bringing it up.
On the new and improved website?
Yes, on the brand spanking new and improved shiny website. That is correct. So this is it's virtualdesignSprint.com. And what I've been doing is I've been creating these videos. I've been basically linking to them on this page, and I'll go ahead and put that in the chat as well. So that reminds me, there's the other thing. There were a couple of comments about the post application of the design sprint, so that it's not in this kind of encased kind of thing and then it just disappears. I'm thinking about what I've been doing with Iva and with Sandy, and I think there's a couple other signups. I'd like to get a panel of 2 or 3 people together to kind of discuss what could happen after the end, and based on our experiences, that could help everyone else in the event to understand where you take things, whether it's a sprint quarter, whether it's an iteration sprint, whether it's some options. I think it might be good to kind of open that up to conversations with people that have experience in that. So that's something I'll pursue offline after we get done with the networking session, so that people can have that possibility. So that's the link to I just put in chat to the resource page there. There's also a sign up sheet for, let me go to the sheets that I have. There's an existing sheet where if you want to sign up to co-record video sessions on some of the topics you see here, we've had a few people already kind of sign up for this stuff, and he's, bless his heart, he's already signed up for things that I've already recorded, which is fine. I'm kind of like right around here, but I'll go ahead and share this as well. So if you want to like have a conversation like we've had about a particular topic that you're interested in or have some knowledge of, you can go ahead and put your name into this, and we can make arrangements in the next couple of weeks to have a recording session. So Sandy's pretty much kind of like wants to talk about Sprint Week the entire time, and we might walk through the templates as well. But this could be an opportunity where if you want to be part of the conversation, we're offering this up as a possibility. So let me bring this up. That should be there. That should work for everybody who's on the call. So you don't have to sign up if you don't want to. This is just an option, but this is just so as we kind of build out these particular topics, we'll do things where, let me see if I can bring just the static YouTube, this one. See if it's there. So
Robert,
Like the training one on how to handle being a facilitator was one that was done with Sandy. So it was something that we just had a conversation about. The sprint team kickoff session was one I did with Iva. And we shared a mural board that basically had all of our topics on it. I think I have it up. No, I just had the master board. But yeah, those are options for you in case you want to, if you want to like get involved and kind of have conversations about the topics.
So if you want to have the audio to my slides, you know my topic.
Yes. Yours is actually was saved over here as a pinned item. I don't know what I did with it, but I know it's there. In fact, I'm going to be referencing it later on, but we can, that'll be something else.
So we can also turn it into one of these sessions if you want.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. In fact, I'll write it down. The Benno session. And maybe that could be your recorded, the chance to kind of record that with voice as well as go through some of the topics and get your perspective on it. Okay. And Yasir says, could be a panel discussion of newbies that participate in GVDS 4. Yep, that could be. We could definitely go that route too. Okay, so we're at the top of the hour. We have a few minutes left. Usually what we do to wrap this up is we usually the default whenever you want to give like a digital artifact of this call happening is you grab something and you put it in front of the camera. But we're doing it different. What we're doing is you give an expression for the camera of how you're feeling going into the GVDS 5, whatever that may be, or just going into the weekend. So yeah, Suzanne, it could be like, eh. So there you go. Hang on, wait. Do you want to pose with me, bud?
No, but wait.
Well, we're about to take a picture, so we're doing this one thing. Do you want to come pose? Okay.
Robert, before we take the picture, did anyone get mashed up in donut? It kind of disappointed me. It sent me a message that sorry we couldn't find anyone for you.
Oh, really?
I felt so disappointed.
Oh, well, if donut's not working, we do that. No. You have to pose, not play. Pose. You're posing for a picture.
I know. This is
No. You can't do anything physical. You have to pose. Okay? You have to be nice.
This is where I'll pose.
But you got to get a picture. Okay.
Okay, we'll do the same thing.
Yes. So. Okay, on the count of 3. I have to have someone so I can do this. Okay. You want to do this?
No.
Yeah, for the mouth. Okay. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. All right. Thank you very much for coming to the networking session. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course, this is an opportunity for my 8-year-old here. Say hi, Alden. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. It's an opportunity for him to play, but he's got to get back to school because it's happening right now, right?
No.
I'll count to 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
See y'all soon.
Okay. See y'all later.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Bye.
coming. Talk to you later, all right? Bye-bye.